Ready?
Ready, set, go, and hello, welcome to the...
Okay, now I have to stop it and start it over.
I'm sorry! Okay, hold on.
Okay, welcome back to the Content Conversations podcast, episode 5. We are super excited about this episode today. This is actually a 2-part episode.
Yep, it is.
We're going to be talking about how to create a cohesive brand if you can't afford a professional.
I think we've all been there.
Been there, done that.
Yep. Actually, I still am there at times. I still can't afford professionals for things. That's when you have to try to get creative.
Yeah, you can't really hide your frugal side.
No.
Sometimes you just want to. Sometimes you just want to save money.
Yeah.
I think everybody likes to save money.
Sometimes.
Not everybody.
I don't know. Well, I think it's sometimes hard to invest in things in your business. And then, like, when you can't invest in your business because you're either just, like, first starting it or you just don't have a budget yet, like, but you have to start presenting things. You have to build a website. You have to do all that kind of stuff. That's when getting creative and still wanting a cohesive brand, like, getting creative and figuring out how to create those things without spending thousands and thousands of dollars.
That's true. I think it's all about finding a balance. I think there's some things that you can, do by yourself or do, on a really low budget.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's some things that you're probably, maybe not right at the beginning, especially if you're starting a business, it can be kind of expensive up front sometimes.
Yeah.
So maybe not right at the beginning, you're looking to probably cut costs as much as possible, but as time goes on, there are certain things you're really going to want to invest in.
Yeah. Well, lots of people actually do go into debt starting a business because they get a business loan.
Yeah.
Which is fine if you're doing it smartly, but, like, personally, I didn't want to go into any debt when I started my business. I didn't want to, like, do any of that. So, I mean, I just thought of, like, creative different ways to do stuff, asking a friend to do something, bartering with people, like all that kind of stuff. But,
and sometimes that might include building your own brand, right at the beginning, kind of putting together what your logo looks like and what you think you want your colors to be, and, building your own website.
Yeah.
Gosh, I built like 3 or 4 websites.
Oh, yeah. It's tiring. You're like, this is why we hire professionals at some point.
This is why I'm not a web designer.
Well, also, too, like, I just even thought of, you almost don't want to spend a lot of money at first, because when you're first building your business, you're just figuring stuff out. I'm kind of grateful I did a lot of it on my own the first few years of my business, and then when I had an, investment, I was at the point at 5 years, I knew what my colors were. I knew what I stood for. I knew what I really wanted. Instead of, like, first year, I'm like, I don't know, I like the color green,
Right.
Being able to spend time building your business and then hiring somebody to put your concrete vision into something,
Right, because, I've seen people who, we're told how important branding is. It is super important.
Right.
But sometimes without really understanding, the purpose of their business, what their business model is, they will go, dump $12,000 into creating a brand that they don't end up using or it ends up changing just because, it wasn't really what they wanted.
Right.
But you also have to leave room for, brands change their logos all the time.
All the time.
Slack, what Slack is? They just changed their logo.
MailChimp did that last year too.
Mm-hmm. So Slack has had the same logo since they started.
Oh, wow.
And they were kind of coming into all these problems of, there was like, the little hashtag sign was overlapping, so it created like all these different colors. It didn't show up very well on all backgrounds. And it was just hard to duplicate.
Yeah.
And so they ended up changing it this year. So there's also room for that too. Your vision will probably, for your brand, probably will change.
It will change. But even creating that vision kind of takes some time to get to.
Which is what we're going to talk about today.
That's right. I'm excited about this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, it's something that a lot of people are going to be able to learn about and use. So Connor, what is a brand? How would you define
the question of the
brand? Hour? It took me like years to figure this out, actually.
I think most people, when they, and like myself included, probably at the beginning, probably you too, most people think of a brand as like just your logo. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, I already have a logo.
Right.
Or like that's what it is. Your brand is your logo.
Right.
Well, a brand is not, it is not always equate to just a logo. I think a way I've heard a brand described, which I personally really like, is a brand, like your brand is like the feeling that you're giving your customers.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think actually a really good example of this is Southwest Airlines.
Yeah.
I know we fly Southwest.
Yeah, so
I know you guys fly Southwest.
We love Southwest.
And I just like, I think we were talking about this earlier, is like, it doesn't matter if you're on Southwest's website or if I follow them on Facebook, so I see their stuff pop up on Facebook, or even when you're walking down that little thingy.
Plank. No. I always think of it like a little
plank. What's that thing called?
I don't even know.
It has a name. I can't remember what it's called.
I know. I don't remember what it's called.
Anyways, a little thing you walk down.
You go from
the gate to the plane.
To the plane. Y'all know what we're talking about.
Yeah, they have like they're in for Southwest anyways. I think other airlines have them too, but I always notice the Southwest ones. They just have pictures.
Yeah.
And they have like fun little like
quotes and stuff
on them. Their billboards all look the same.
Awesome.
Like the napkins when they hand you peanuts and not peanuts. They don't do peanuts anymore. Pretzels.
Yeah.
Their napkins always have fun stuff on them.
Yeah.
But my point is, it all looks the same.
Mm-hmm.
And it all gives you the same feeling. It's fun. Mm-hmm. It's friendly.
Yeah.
It's welcoming.
It's crazy because I even made the observation in all of their pictures. If you go to their website, like everybody's smiling. Those posters you were talking about, they're smiling. The billboards, they're smiling. Everybody's smiling. We actually looked up the mission statement for Southwest, and it said, the mission of Southwest Airlines is dedication to the highest quality of customer service delivered with a sense of warmth, friendliness, individual pride, and company spirit. And when you go on a flight with Southwest, you feel all of those things, especially the friendliness.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. I don't know about you guys, but every time I've ever flown Southwest, I feel all of those things.
Oh, yeah. It's easy. You feel you're not stressed. Everybody's friendly. It's like they're glad. They actually are glad that you're there flying with them, you know? Like, you feel comfortable with them.
You were saying something earlier about their employees. Like, they kind of encourage you. Like, you don't have to necessarily follow a script.
Right. So, also, if you've ever been on a Southwest flight, you'll notice that the stewardesses who like are telling you how to put your seatbelt on, that kind of stuff, they actually are usually pretty funny and hilarious, making these jokes. And Southwest tells them, like, if you want to do that, you can. You don't have to. So there's not like a pressure. And there's not like a script, but they encourage them too, if they feel comfortable, like, hey, make it a fun experience for them. Like, don't feel like you have to say the same thing over and over again. Like, have fun with it. And so many Southwest flights, I'm like laughing. And you know, who laughs on on a flight? That's usually not what you do. So yeah.
Especially since those little safety briefings. If you've been flying a long time, I've been flying like my entire life. Yeah. You tune them out.
I like start sleeping, you know, the second I get in my seat. I'm like, okay.
Sometimes I think though, I'm like, you know, what if like, God forbid, something actually happens and I have no idea what to do? Because I've been tuning it out for 21 years. But so that's a really important part of branding too, is it's the feeling. So what is that? It encompasses your signage, you know, your digital products, your print products. It encompasses your people.
Yeah.
You know, so these people, you know, they're well taken care of and they're told, like, you know, have fun.
Yeah.
That's part of their brand, is fun and friendly. And that the employees are encouraged to follow suit in that. And it's noticeable. When we went to New York last year, it was somebody's birthday. And so they, I don't know how they found out it was the guy's birthday through something. And they had everyone close their windows and turn on their phone lights. And we all sang happy birthday.
That is adorable.
Now, I have nothing against United or any other flights, but I've never done that on any other airline.
No.
I never wished someone a happy birthday like that.
And that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
See, making it like a personal, fun experience, being friendly, like warmth, perfect.
And imagine how whoever's birthday was. Like, imagine how that guy felt. I mean, you don't know what that guy's day looked like. Like maybe he'd been super long and he was tired, or maybe it was a good day or whatever.
Yeah.
Imagine how that made him feel, though, as a customer of Southwest. They don't have to do that. It's not like we expect that kind of stuff. If they don't do it, it's fine. But just like going the extra mile to treat your customers like they are your priority.
Yeah. I would also like to make the observation, we will pay more to go on a Southwest flight than anywhere else.
That's true.
If they're like $20 more, I'm like, so worth it. Like even a little bit like more than $20, I'm like, yes, I will totally do that because it's totally worth it.
It is, especially when, sometimes going to the airport can be kind of a stressful experience. Like if you have to go early or you're there late, or it's the holidays, there's long lines, like just having someone there that's having fun, who you know is taking care of you.
Smiling, is happy. It makes a difference. I would encourage you guys to go look at their website and just to kind of observe them, because I even if I follow them on Instagram, and it's just a great company, a great brand, a great business to look up to. So for sure. And it's cool to observe their the cohesiveness and their colors. Bright, happy colors. So they're bright blue, bright red, bright yellow. Encouraging good colors that make people feel good, And so that's something as you're looking at your brand, those are the things to keep in mind. Your imagery, your language, just observe their language. Everything is talking about good, happy flight, fun, everything like that. The feeling, the color palette, your font.
It all just makes you feel good. Yeah.
So as you're creating your brand, those things are the things that are
they're important. They help with sustaining a cohesive presence. So I definitely would look to, and I'll link it's not their official brand guide, but it's a blog that I found that talks about their rebranding and kind of what went into that. So you guys can kind of understand what that looks like. So I'll link that in the show notes. But I thought we would bring Southwest up just because from a branding standpoint, I think it just encompasses everything that's important. When you say feeling, just think about Southwest. Think about how they make you feel. From literally everything that they do. Their little coffee stirrers that have hearts on them.
Exactly.
Or their fun little their napkins. You throw napkins away.
Right.
Napkins are almost meaningless things, but the fact that they're
using that.
Yeah, their branding extends to something as small as a napkin.
Yeah.
For your drink.
So true. It's so true. I would also whatever company you're thinking of right now. If you've never flown Southwest, then you're I have no idea what you're talking about. Whatever company or business that makes you feel a certain way, think about the things that they do for you. Think of why do you like them so much? Go down to the details. What are their colors? What are their fonts? What do they do to go the extra mile to, make you feel really good? Those are just important things.
What has your customer service experience been like? If it's a brick and mortar store, what is your experience like in the store?
When you walk into the store.
If you go to the Apple store, I would like to use Apple as an example too.
Right.
You usually feel the same. Or Chick-fil-A. Every Chick-fil-A is the same.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. If you always feel the same when you go to Chick-fil-A, and it's happy.
Yeah. That's
and well fed with delicious chicken nuggets,
fried chicken,
and sweet tea. They do that sweet tea.
They do have the best sweet tea.
You want to talk about good branding? Their sweet tea. It's consistent and always tastes the same.
It's true. I've never had bad sweet tea.
No matter what Chick-fil-A you go to,
it's delicious.
Out of the city, out of the state, it's so good.
It's so good. And I want sweet tea right now. It's a sunny, beautiful day today, so now I went to go get sweet tea. Maybe we'll go after we record these. But also, wait, I just thought of something and I can't remember.
It'll probably come back to you.
It will come back to me. I was gonna think of another business, but oh yes, okay. No, I was gonna talk about like specific words on how branding. I remember when I was like trying to think of my words and stuff for the business, or when Nate and I were thinking of words, like those words are so powerful in how you're gonna make people feel. Just look at Southwest, warmth and friendliness, and even pride was one of their words. Like their employees are proud to work for them, you know? And so when you're thinking of a great way to start your branding is to think of those words.
Yeah.
How do you want to make people feel? Do you want to make them feel happy? Do you want to make them feel served? Do you want to make them feel loved? Do you want to make them feel like excited? What are those words? And put that in your branding, because those words are so powerful. If you're wanting to make somebody feel comfort, you're going to pick a different color. You're not going to pick like, I don't know, hot pink. That's not a comforting color.
Really bright red.
Right. You know, you're maybe
like muted tones.
A muted tone.
Earthy, maybe.
Exactly. So that's why like starting out with those words is what's kind of really going to like start that little funnel of, okay, this is what the colors, this is what the, you know, all those other little fun things that you get to do with branding. But it starts with, how do you want to make people feel?
Yeah, and that's an excellent point. That's what I was going to say a minute ago before you said it. That's why we're partners.
Exactly.
That's why we're podcast partners.
Great minds think alike.
But yeah, that's such a good point, because it does start out with how you want to make people feel, because then at that point you can use it as a filter for everything that you come up with for your business. So when you're trying to put something together for, like, let's say you're making fun postcards to send your clients, right?
Right.
So, you know, the imagery that you use, the language that you use, you can always run that back by these words that you've chosen and think, you know, to use Southwest as an example, is this fun? You know, is this friendly? Is this warm? Does this bring a feeling of warmth and comfort and like being welcomed?
Right.
And if it doesn't, then
it's out the door.
You kind of rethink it. I think that's more because it's built on emotion.
Yeah.
And less like, instead of just like, these are my colors, this is my font, this is my whatever.
Right.
You know, asking yourself how you want, what kind of feelings you want to inspire in people, that's an emotional thought process.
Yeah.
So then I think it sticks with you more. You think of it from that way instead of just like, oh, but these are our colors and this is our font. And there's nothing wrong with that, because you need those things to be cohesive.
Right.
But
to
being
go
able to
the emotions first.
Asking people or asking yourself, when whatever kind of business you have, it doesn't have to, you don't have to be an airline.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a photographer.
You can be, it's whatever.
Whatever your business is, you ask yourself, you know, how do I want to make my customers feel? And that's just people who are already your customers or your potential customers, people that you're trying to appeal to.
Yeah.
How do you want those people to feel when they see your advertisements, when they see you on TV, or whatever? Because
people buy with their emotions. They do not buy with the logical side of their brain.
That's true.
They buy with their emotional side, and that's why branding is so important. Because logic is not going to make that person, like, logic doesn't make me pay $50 more to go on Southwest. My feelings do.
Right, because if you were using logic, you'd be like, I need to save money.
So I'm going to go on the cheapest flight, and my back's going to hurt. I'm not going to get any water because they charge $5 for it, and I have to pay for my luggage and all this kind of stuff. Like, no, like my emotions. I don't want to do any of that. I want to have a nice flight. I want to start off my trip with smiling and not like being stressed out, you know?
Begin my trip with smiles.
And happy thoughts. So that's why I'm going to pay more for that.
Well, it's kind of like why people buy Apple products. I mean,
so true.
I know if you're an Android person, I'm sorry.
We like you too.
We like you too. I love my Apple products. And I've always bought Apple products. And for the most part, they're pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Like, they're pretty expensive.
They are.
So if I'm buying with my logical brain would be like, that's like way too much money. You can buy this laptop for $500 instead of this one for $1,200. You know, but the emotions kick in, and I remember like why I resonate with Apple as a company and why I love their company. And that's why I continue to support them. And that means I'll pay a little bit extra.
Yeah. We were even talking about like farmers markets.
Mm-hmm.
So how we like that feeling of wanting to support, which is an emotion,
Mm-hmm.
the local people in our community.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to spend a little bit more for not only high quality items, like that's a given,
Mm-hmm.
but also to support and be a part of a community. That's all emotions right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm going to spend more.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, I love this subject.
So
I feel like
fun.
we could like talk about it
this forever.
I know.
So when we're talking specifically about brand elements, and we'll talk more about like how you guys can actually implement this stuff in part 2.
Which is why we made it part 2.
Which is why we made it 2 parts, so we don't talk for 5 hours.
Yes, we knew it was going to be a lot.
But it is kind of starting out with that, how you want to make people feel. And actually, Simon Sinek, I don't know if you ever read his book, Start With Why. So he actually has a video on YouTube. And it's like, I can't think of what it's called. I think it's probably called Start With Why. But he has this diagram that he draws out.
It's his TED Talk, isn't it?
Yes, it is his TED Talk. It's his TED Talk. I watched it on YouTube.
We can link to that, too.
Yeah, we'll link that in the show notes. It's such a great video. But he talks about basically what we were just talking about, how we buy things with that emotional part of our brain because we connect to the why with people. And that's all emotion. That's how we connect with people. Because if you look at just, buying from people as a functional thing, like let's take mattress companies, for example. You know those like box mattress companies? There's like a billion of them. In 2018, those boxed mattress companies just kind of exploded.
It's crazy.
So if you look at that from a functional standpoint, you're literally just looking at the specs and your logical brain's trying to figure out which one you like better. But if you add an emotion into that and, you have these mattress companies and you buy based off of why and emotion, then you can really connect with a company. And that kind of puts the burden on those companies to really connect with their people.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, most of them are the same. And I know this because I looked at them. A lot of them, they kind of say the same things.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, how do you set yourself apart and connect with people on an emotional level? Because I think that's probably how you're going to get customers. You have so much competition.
Exactly. So like going back to creating a cohesive brand if you can't afford a professional. Everything that we were just talking about are the things that you can do yourself. You can create this brand. You can ask yourself these questions. You can do the research, and you can create this brand feeling for your business on your own. You can do it. You can totally do it.
We're empowering you to do it.
You have permission to create this brand. No, I'm excited about part 2. We're going to get a little bit more into detail about little like actual things that you can use to create this brand, some apps, some
tools that we love. We love tools.
We have used and go into more detail.
Yeah. So we will, let's wrap this up then, I guess.
Yeah, I think,
All right, guys. We'll stick around for part 2. We're going to talk about all of that stuff, kind of give you guys some
just more
real life tips that you guys can do to create your brand or overhaul your current brand if that's what you want to do without necessarily needing to spend lots of money on a professional.
Exactly. If you haven't left a review yet, that is the best way that you can support us. Just pause this right now, right after this ends. Go leave a little review, you guys. We would so appreciate it.
We would love to hear from you guys. Reviews also help other people to see our podcast if you think other people could benefit from our wise words.
We also have a Facebook group, Content Conversations Podcast. We'd love for you to be a part of that. You can follow us on Instagram and Content Conversations Podcast as well. You can also find all these episodes on our website, contentconvospodcast.com. How many times can I say contentconvospodcast.com? Y'all get it, y'all understand, so y'all can find us.
We're also going to be uploading video.
Yes.
To YouTube. So right now, as we speak, we're on camera.
Hello, hello.
Hi, camera.
For the first time.
For the first time. So if you want to see a little bit, kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes.
We'll be on the YouTube. Maybe. Is it doing YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube.
YouTube, maybe IGTV.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
Which we also have an episode about that coming up.
Oh,
so
yes.
Stay tuned.
So excited.
All right, guys. Well, hope you enjoyed today, and we will continue this conversation next week.